A striking, medium-sized inland flyer with a robust 2-meter wingspan and an estimated 30-centimeter skull profile, instantly recognized by a prominent, distinct bone crest running along the top of its snout, uniquely displaying an intricate internal texture of narrow, vertical struts. A water-resistant coat of downy pycnofibers drapes its body, likely patterned in sandy ochres and mud grays to blend with desert basins. It is a highly active resident of rugged mountain ranges, canyons, and arid inland floodplains. An opportunistic and powerful predator, it glides steadily over mountain valleys before landing to forage along dry creek beds with a deliberate quadrupedal walk. It utilizes 16 narrow, oval tooth sockets per jaw side, with small teeth that decline in size and become more widely spaced toward the back to cleanly crush insects and land invertebrates. Completely silent, it stands completely isolated as the premier crest-bearing specialist of its South American territory. It shares its arid habitat with Tridostro, but Dsungaripteridae is instantly distinguished by its much stouter jaw contours, an elevated tooth socket layout, and a prominent snout blade, completely lacking the comb-like filter arrays of its neighbor. A large, stoutly built flying reptile with an impressive maximum wingspan reaching up to 4 meters. It features an uncrested, straight snout that lacks an upward curve, long narrow neck vertebrae, and a specialized jaw tip completely devoid of teeth. A dense layer of downy, water-resistant pycnofibers drapes its frame, likely patterned in earthy sand brown and mud tones. This specialized flyer is a dedicated resident of expansive inland lake systems, mudflats, and semi-arid plains. Highly adapted to a terrestrial lifestyle, it spends considerable time pacing shorelines with a proud, calculated quadrupedal crawl supported by robust limbs. It acts as a specialized shellfish hunter, using its straight beak tip to probe into soft mud before using well-developed, widely spaced rear teeth to crack open hard mollusks and crabs. Flight is steady and silent, shares its lake habitat with the larger Dsungaripteridae. However, Dsungaripteris parvus is instantly distinguished in the field by its straight, non-upturned beak profile, its significantly more lightly built skull, and weaker, more slender teeth. A heavily built, medium-sized terrestrial flyer, similar to its close relative Dsungaripteris but roughly a third shorter in body length. It is characterized by thick-walled bone structures, a stout body, long narrow neck vertebrae, and a prominent head crest. A dense layer of downy pycnofibers drapes its frame, likely showing slate gray and lake silt tones. This specialized predator is a dedicated resident of vast, sprawling inland lake systems and marshy mudflats. An active shoreline generalist, it patrols beaches, landing to forage with a steady, calculated quadrupedal crawl. It acts as a specialized shellfish hunter, using its straight, sharp, toothless beak tips to probe mud for prey, and robust, widely spaced rear teeth to easily crack open hard shells. Completely silent, coexists directly with the massive Dsungaripteridae. However, Dsungaripteris complicitans is easily distinguished in the field by its significantly smaller footprint, a more lightly built skull, and a straight snout profile that does not point upwards. It shares its genus within Parvus, but that sibling species occupies a separate Mongolian territory and displays subtle variations in its limb geometry. A sleek, small-bodied flying reptile with an advanced, short-tailed skeletal frame, and exceptionally unique lower leg anatomy. It is instantly recognized in the field by its highly distinctive, expanded spherical ankle joints and sharp, spiny bone processes bristling along the sides of its shins. A dense, water-repellent coat of fine pycnofibers drapes its body, likely patterned in deep slate gray and lake silt tones to provide camouflage. It is an active shoreline specialist, exclusively inhabiting rich coastal lakes, expansive river floodplains, and wetland systems. An elegant and highly maneuverable aeronaut, it patrols muddy shores, moving on land with a steady quadrupedal gait. It relies on its highly modified ankles to step firmly through soft mudflats, while filter feeding on small aquatic invertebrates. Entirely silent, strongly mirrors its close regional contemporary Tridostro in basic body frame and wetland habits, but Puntanopterus is cleanly separated in the field by its uncompressed, spherical ankles and prominent shin spines. It is easily distinguished from Asian cousins, like Dsungaripteris, by its strict South American range. A large, stocky flyer with a powerful 3.5-meter wingspan, a robust bone structure, and heavy body proportions layout, instantly recognized by its massive, 1-meter head and neck assembly and long, narrow jaws that curve elegantly upward at the tip layout. It features a low bony midline ridge running down the center of its face. A dense, hair-like pycnofiber coat provides mud ochre and stone camouflage, blending perfectly within sandy and muddy inland floodplains, river basins, and lake shores. Primarily terrestrial, it lands abruptly with heavy flapping. It walks with a proud, calculated quadrupedal step along mudflats, using its toothless beak tips to pry shellfish from rocky cracks, before crushing them with flat rear teeth layout. Completely silent, coexists with several related flyers but outmatches them in overall size. It mirrors its close South American sister taxon, Dsungaripteridae, but Dsungaripteridae is easily distinguished by its strictly Asian range and a vastly lower, more gradual midline face ridge layout. A sturdily built, imposing inland flyer with an estimated 40 cm head, recognizable by its slender, needle-sharp beak tip. It features a distinctive, completely straight upper jaw margin, and a high forehead crest scored with fine display grooves. A dense, hair-like pycnofiber coat provides cryptic desert sand and shale tones. It is a robust resident of extensive continental basins, semi-arid floodplains, and vast inland lake systems. A dedicated terrestrial generalist, it paces along rocky flats and mud shorelines with a heavy, deliberate quadrupedal stride. It behaves as a specialized shell cracker, using its hard, toothless beak tip to probe mud before using exactly 8 well-spaced cheek teeth that decrease in size toward the throat to crunch through hard prey. Flight is powerful and heavy. Completely silent, intricately mirrors its close relative Dsungaripteridae, with which it shares its primary range. But Lonchognathosaurus is cleanly separated in the field by its perfectly straight jawline and lower, non-elevated tooth sockets. It differs from Noripterus by its vastly more robust limbs and a unique, concave leading margin on its skull blade. A small, sturdily built flying reptile characterized by a highly unusual, broad, and flattened lower jaw architecture. It features a distinctive scoop-shaped mandible that is remarkably wide, accompanied by parallel jaw margins that curve slightly upward toward the rear. A dense layer of downy pycnofibers drapes its compact, short-tailed frame, likely patterned in earthy sand brown and clay tones to match the semi-arid floodplains, river channels, and inland lake basins of its Central Asian habitat. An active, specialized shoreline generalist, it patrols muddy embankments, moving on land with a steady quadrupedal walk. It relies on its broad, scoop beak to scoop up soft-bodied river invertebrates or small fish, securely trapping prey within a row of at least 8 short, blunt, and widely spaced teeth. Flight is completely silent. It coexists with similar heavy-jawed flyers, but represents a much smaller physical footprint. It mirrors the related Dsungaripteridae in general bone robustness, but Ordocipterus is instantly distinguished in the field by its significantly smaller adult size, a completely flat jaw profile, and its short, blunt teeth, totally lacking the towering snout crests and heavily swollen shell-crushing tooth nodules of its massive contemporary. A striking, large-bodied coastal glider, with a wingspan exceeding 3.7 meters and a long, toothless beak profile measuring over 60 centimeters. It is instantly recognized by its specialized lower jaw, which curves dynamically upward and terminates in a sharp, completely edentulous edge. A water-resistant, plush coat of fine pycnofibers drapes its body, likely patterned in slate gray and salt white. This masterful aeronaut is a dedicated shoreline resident, exclusively patrolling the warm marine bays, limestone reefs, and rich estuaries of its South American archipelago habitat. An elegant and commanding flyer, it rides thermal updrafts effortlessly over open water. It operates as a specialized surface picker, dropping low over the waves to scoop up fish, or soft-bodied squid, using its sharp-edged, horn-sheathed jaws like a pair of shears. On land, it folds its massive wings to move with a proud, calculated quadrupedal step along tidal mudflats. Entirely silent, shares its rich tropical fishing grounds with Thalassodromius sethi. However, Bangala is cleanly distinguished in the field by its distinct jaw curvatures and the complete absence of a heavy, blade-like crest on its lower jaw, contrasting with the robustly keeled profiles of its larger neighbors.